People Station B103 and Ryan Cameron Show featuring Rashawn Ali, T.I. in the studio, Josh from the studio, Rashawn Ali, yours truly here. Tip, again, just saying that we were, everybody glued to the situation on Friday. You have made some conscious decisions to, I guess, to better yourself. Even with the record, you are addressing. You are not running away from your issues. Explain to us, you know, the record and why you address some of the things that people were saying. Because you mentioned some things by name.
Sure, I think that I have been in a position, man, to see clearly just how quick people, the public, will just throw you away. You know, they would rather see you suffer than to see you shine. You know, although, and you can tell by the same people while you shining will praise you, and the same one who hold your hand up, who hold your arm up in the ring when you winning, they're gonna be the same one slapping their knee, laughing and pointing when you lose. You know, and me myself personally, man, I don't see, and although my actions have been unacceptable, inexcusable, but I don't see them as being unforgivable. And I think that I have been approached by the public. I'm not talking about the courts. I'm not talking about, you know, anybody who, you know, in legal. I'm talking about by the public.
Right.
I believe I have been approached in such a way that my actions are unforgivable. And I think that one bad move, one bad decision, one poor sense of judgment has discredited all of the good, which I don't think is right, especially when all of the people who are judging and pointing their finger at me are doing as bad, if not worse than me, without doing as much good as me. You know, and now I don't know if it's my place to say it, but if ain't nobody else gonna say it, I'm gonna say it.
Right.
You know, and that was the purpose of the record. And I mean, I just honestly feel that, you know, with all this going on in the world, man, it's a lot more to frown up at than T.I. You know, it's a lot more to be upset about rather than me in my circumstance.
Let me follow that up, Tip. You know, when it first happened, I was very angry because I've known you for so very long.
Understandable.
Right, and I talked about, you know, people around you having a voice of reason, and like if you wanted to do something, to say, no, let's not do that. I did say that. I said those things because I care and I love you. What are you going to change about you?
Well, first of all, man, I'm gonna take it a day at a time.
Right.
You know, I got a little while to plan. You know?
Okay.
So I'm gonna take it a day at a time, and I'm not. One thing I'm not gonna do is I'm not gonna get out here and I ain't finna talk and make a whole lot of promises and do this and do that. I'm gonna speak more so through my music and my actions.
Right.
And you know, I'm gonna let God lead me wherever that may be.
Now, you talked Friday about being flawed and having some issues.
Sure.
Do you feel like those are under your control now?
I feel like at least I know of these issues now. You know, before the main thing about a problem is knowing that you have one. You know, and now that I know where I can go and you know, have help at resolving those issues.
Right.
But I mean, I don't think a lot of people take into account my circumstances prior to me becoming T.I. You know, what I came from and how I got here.
Right.
And all things considered, you know, even all of the things that have gone wrong with me pale in comparison to all of the things that could have gone wrong with me. So I don't think that is being considered as much
Right.
as it should be. You know, when you're an athlete, you know, you are trained from a child on how to be a football player, how to be a basketball player, a to high school, to college, you know, there are several lessons that are learned all from a child up. So when you make it to the pros, you're prepared.
Right.
Even if you don't make it to the pros, you are prepared. But see, me, I had no, that was nothing. Everything I've learned is trial and error. Everything I've learned, I learned by getting locked up and okay, so I know not to do that no more.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Okay, I know, don't buy guns from your security guard. Don't carry guns as a felon. Don't do this. I learned all these by all my list, my rap sheet, are lessons that I've learned and corrections that I have made in my life. And now I have learned the final lesson.
And it is the final lesson.
That's it.
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, you know, if you ask me, I'd be a fool to tell you, nah, I think I got a little more to learn.
Right.
Right.
When you were in California and you made the turn and you saw the lights.
We're not gonna get into that.
Okay.
We're not gonna get into that.
Okay, I guess let me rephrase. Do you think that in hindsight?
Hindsight's always 20/20. I can think of a million things that should have been done different.
Right.
I can think of a million things, but I don't think, you know, that don't benefit me, you, or the people.
Right.
You know, by digging.
What could have happened? What could have? Yeah.
Right.
What should have? Could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. That's fair. Knowing that you have such a brief time to do a lot of things, how do you address with so many people that depend on you about what's about to happen for these 11 months while you're away?
I'm really more so just concerned with my family, my children.
Well, that's what I'm talking about.
My home. That's it. Yeah. I mean, you know, one thing about us, man, you know, we are a very close family, and we make it through everything that we make it through as a family. We always have, we always will. This is no different.
Josh, you've heard T.I. talk about his own circumstances, and he's gone through a lot. You yourself have had some legal issues that you have pending. When you hear him speak about his life lessons and going through things through trial and error, what does that say to you?
I mean, yeah, basically, like I'm sitting here listening now, and I mean, the same thing. Like, I mean, I have, you know, like I said, a case that I'm working through right now, and I mean, it definitely resonates the same exact thing. Like, where I just, you know, there's of course certain things I need to correct, certain things I need to develop, and I mean, that's all that we can do. You know, is just do what we can and try as hard as we can. You know, and what I realize is that now I just need to put forth that extra effort that I thought wasn't there, that I now know is there.
Right.
You know, and that's the biggest thing. You know, is just having, you know, knowing, you know, you have a strong support group of people that really do care about you, which I now know more than ever.
Right.
And to just not only not let them down, but not let myself down either anymore. And that's kind of also what I felt like when I was there. Like, you know, I'm kind of letting myself down too. You know, that, you know, after I got off and everything, off the ledge and everything. And that's kind of how I felt myself. Was like, man, I was really about to just let myself down, let everything go, and not realizing that it's not the end. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I guess obviously there might be, you know, a pretty big purpose for me, you know. And
There is.
There is.
And just to know that yeah, I just got a couple things that I got to work on myself, and that's kind of like what I want to do. But I do also, you know, want to kind of following what he does, and also help other people, you know, as best as I can, and open myself up to those outlets where I can. And but, you know, like I was speaking with Dr. Michael before, I do need to, you know, address certain things with myself before I can do that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's where I'm at with that, and yeah.
Well, we're so glad you're here.
I think Tim want to say something too.
Yeah.
You want? I saw you give at the end of the
Oh,
day.
no, man, no, not at all. I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head, man. I think, you know, man, we all move forward, man, and all of the things that we go through in life, man, they just prepare us for the next battle.
Right.
You know, and I think that you were able to make it through this, man, with I guess minimal injury, maximum lesson learned. You know, so now, you know, you move forward a more knowledgeable, spiritual, understanding person, and I think that's to your benefit.
I appreciate that.
Right.
And Tip, I know you got to run, but all the people that are listening, and Joshua, you can comment on this as well. It'll be the last question. there are people that are going through similar situations. They may not be as intense as yours, Tip, or even to the point where you say, Joshua, that it made you, climb to the top of a building and think about, ending your life. But what do you say to people out there that, and Tip, to say that they're listening right now and are saying, we've all been there, but you decided to go away from your planned path to come down here and do this. So there's a person out there now that isn't Joshua, that may be going through the same struggles or even more struggles. What do you say to that person as you continue to go through your life?
I mean, just that it gets better. It gets better if you're willing to put in the time, the effort, the energy into making it better, or if you're willing to lay back long enough to allow it to get better. It can and will get better. But if you interfere with that process by removing yourself permanently from the circumstance of the situation, then you don't allow it to get better. So I mean, the only way it can get better is if you put yourself in that position, man. You got to be present to be blessed.
Right. And what I've learned is something that's been resonating with me that one of my friends told me, and that's giving up is not an option. It obviously wasn't an option for me either, because it didn't happen. So I mean, it's definitely not an option, because like you said, you can't be blessed if you're not here. And at the same time, like, it's just if you decide to give up, you're not only giving up on just you giving up on everything else. And I realized how many people I would hurt if I did take myself out. And so it's definitely giving up is not an option, because God definitely let me know that I can't give up. And so to anyone else, like, giving up is just not an option.
Well, I told you before you came in, before Dr. Michael came in, that your mental health was the most important thing to me. The job situation will work itself out. The legal situation hopefully will work itself out. But to me, personally, as I told you before, and Tip knows this as well, I lost my best friend to this situation where they left behind a lot of people that are still hurting to this day. So for you to be here, brother, is definitely a blessing. But we're gonna continue to get the life coach. I'm gonna front that. We're gonna front load it, even if it's a phone session. That I think Dr. Michael talks to me about knowing the triggers. Right. You got to know what it is that gets ready to set you off. Either way, and once you recognize those things, you're able to diffuse those things. So we're gonna work with you on that, and then we work out the rest of the stuff.
All right.
That's how we're gonna do it.
Sounds like a plan.
It is a plan.
Right on.
Tip, thank you, man.
Hey, man, my pleasure. And see you soon.
It is the People Station, man. It is B103.